off by saying there are so many excited people here in Australia for Glam Fest coming up, and one of the reasons they're excited is because Faster Pussycat are on the bill. So I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about how you're feeling about Glam Fest as well.
Oh, we're looking forward to it. It's been 4 years since we've been over there. That's only the third time, so I'm looking forward to it. I'm friends with Wednesday and then some of the other guys, Chip and Steve and Stevie and Steven and the 800 Stevens. But I'm friends with all those guys, and it's going to be fun going over there. Plus, I'm going to spend a extra week over there with my fiance for just getting to see some sights and stuff, which I'm really looking forward to. So
awesome. What are some of the things that you want to check out while you're in Australia? Have you got a list of things that you want to do or things you want to see?
Not really. Kimberly, we're going to go down to her best friend from way back in Alabama lives outside Melbourne, out in Healesville and stuff. So we're going to go see some outskirts shit and stuff like that. And then we're going to take her to see some of the stuff in Sydney, and I just want to see anything but an airport.
Yep.
And you know what I mean? So that's basically, every time we've been there so far, it's been pretty much just boom, boom, hotel, airport, venue. And that's basically it. It's cool when we get on the plane, we fly over and go, oh, that looks beautiful. But we never get to go anywhere. So it's always kind of hustle. Boom, boom, boom. This will be like we're going to spend a week.
Yeah, well, I'm
figuring we're halfway across the planet. Might as well get some time in.
Well, I'm completely biased, but Healesville is out near where I live, and it's one of the most beautiful areas of Australia, so you're in for an absolute treat when you're visiting there.
Oh, that's killer. That's good, yeah. So, I'm looking forward to it. Well, that'll be the first part of the vacation, and then the second part will be Sydney up there, so cool.
Awesome. So, tell us a little bit, as you said, you guys are going to get to come over here and you're touring with guys that you know and love. What's that like being on the other side of the world, playing shows, but with guys that you kind of grew up around and have been playing around for years?
It's pretty cool. I mean, we did that before when we went over with George. You know what I mean? We did some stuff where we had ran across each other, but it was fun being able to basically get to know them over there. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But the other guys like Chip and Chip's Enough and that band and Pretty Boy Floyd, and we've toured with them over here many times. And just Wednesday we haven't, but we've been friends forever. So it's like it's gonna be fun, just because it's like going to camp. You know what I mean? It's just like going to see, with friends from way back, and then it's just, I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. It's just not. We're in a different country. At least we're all still speaking English.
Yeah.
So,
now,
which makes it easy.
Yeah. Now, I went to your show in Melbourne when you were here 4 years ago, and I remember the buzz before that show. There were so many listeners to our program who were excited about you coming back to Australia. Were you aware of how many Australian fans the band had previously to that?
Not really, because we don't live there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You'll get an email or somebody will send you. And we're friends with, I'm friends with Zaria and KJ and Jordan from the art. So it's like we had, we have some friends, but, it's just kind of like, hey, how's it going? We hear from them every once in a while, so we never really know. It's always cool to go that far around the world and have people come to your show. So that's another thing we're, looking forward to. Hopefully it'll be a good turnout, and especially with all the bands that are playing.
Yeah, and it's one of those times when, from what I've gathered so far, there's a lot of the younger generation who are going to be turning up to the to Glam Fest as well because of some of the bands on the lineup they've recently discovered. Do you see that as an opportunity to kind of play in front of a bunch of people that's never seen you play live before?
Yeah, that's good. It's cool. Definitely, it's always fun playing in front of the kids.
Yeah,
it's like, to get to see a bunch of dudes from way back rocking it out. But it'll be interesting. It's just good to, yeah. Before it was like, you know, we go out and our old fans' kids are out at the gig. Now it's our fans' kids are out for the show. But no, it's cool.
Yeah.
We're looking forward to it. Yeah, my friend Rachel's from out there. She's good friends with Ronnie and stuff, and she's telling me, yeah, all these little young kids are all can't wait for the show. I'm like, right on. That's cool. Good.
Yeah. It feels like there's been an interesting twist here in Australia in probably the last 6 or 7 years, where even for stations like ours, where we play a mixture of new and older music, the age groups that listen to our shows have changed. There's a lot more younger people discovering the music of the 80s and the 70s, but they're buying a lot of vinyl as well. There was a stat that came out the other day that vinyl sales in Australia right now are higher than they've ever been previously. So you've got this younger generation discovering the older music, but also wanting to buy it on vinyl.
Yeah, that's cool. We got vinyl. We'll have vinyl for like a ghost at the gigs. That'll be the first time it's available in Brisbane.
So I wanted to ask about that, the new music. It has been so great to hear new music from you guys. Tell us a little bit about what's been inspiring that new music and what it's felt like bringing new music out there for the fans.
Well, we've been waiting. We've been working on shit for a while. I'm just slow as a slug these days. I don't whip out the shit like I used to. I'm a little more picky, and I just want to make sure I do it right. So, and then, we put out NOLA, and that went really cool. It went over good live when we toured with it. So, and then we just put out Like a Ghost just before Christmas, and that's coming out on vinyl when we get there. So at Brisbane will be like I said, the first place that'll be available. And that one turned out cool. That was like our first, I started that a while ago, just like NOLA. NOLA, that track I started way back. It was back, I wrote it back when, Katrina hit, right when we were finishing up Power in the Glory Hole.
Yep.
But it just never got finished. So it was just kind of sat there. And then I was like, I got sober, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to go back. I don't want to, because there's a bunch of tracks that they just weren't done. I didn't want to forget about them. They were cool shit that I wrote, So I went back and just started going through some of the sessions, see what songs I thought were just need to be finished, and NOLA was one of them. And then right when I got sober, I started Like a Ghost, because that was my first track doing sober since the old days. Because back in the old days, I wasn't that fucked up.
Yeah.
So, but it was like that was the first track on new gear and doing it, and just having Sam Bam with me too, fucking help putting it together with the guitars and stuff. The kid's amazing. So it's just been fun. I'm slow, so. But when I put something out, I'll be happy with it. It's not like the old days of just going in a room with a bunch of guys and banging out a bunch of songs and some other guy coming in and produce it, and hopefully it turns out cool and Elektra will put it out. Back in the old days, that's the way it was. We were just kids. Nowadays, we got our studios in our houses and we work on shit. We're not banging it out. It's different, It's different today. So
yeah.
It's slow, and I'm older and slower.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is.
You mentioned going back over some of the material that you had there, like NOLA and finishing it off. Did you get some surprises going back and listening to some of those tracks? Were there tracks there that you'd almost forgotten about?
Oh, yeah, that's cool. It's like, and I was like, fuck, that was fucking killer. And back then, we were like fucked up on shit and just slamming shit out. We'd be working around the clock. Me and Danny would be in here writing stuff and just drinking and doing whatever and just recording a lot of cool riffs. We'd come up with, I'd have Danny on the bass, and I'd fucking have to be on the guitar. I'd put a beat down, and we'd just start writing riffs and just some cool shit. And it's like, and some of the stuff, got pretty far. We just didn't finish it, so it didn't end up on the record. So there's a couple other tracks that are cool too that I'm probably going to revisit. But there's other stuff that's coming already.
Yeah,
like a Ghost, and we got Motorbike that's done and ready to go. We did a cover of. For what it's worth, it's kind of like an industrial version. It's kind of we're probably gonna do a couple different mixes of it, different ones, and then right now we're working on the NXS cover, Don't Change, that we played over there last time we were there, and we play it periodically in the set anyway because it's just a fun song to play. But the recording version, we've changed up the rhythm a little bit just on the guitars. It's still the same structure, the same amount of bars per. The melodies hasn't changed. Just some of the guitar riffs on the verses and shit are more Sex Pistols sounding. It sounds pretty fucking cool. So we're in the middle of doing. That's what we're working on now. And we're gonna try to finish it before we went, but it hasn't happened with all the rain and just other shit and travel and whatnot, holiday stuff. But it's coming along cool. It's getting. I haven't done the vocals yet, but. We're getting all the bass and drums and finishing up the guitars on it right now. So, but it's pretty badass. So
awesome. I have to ask, when did you become a fan of INXS? Is that a band that you've loved for a long time? Because of course
Forever.
They're an Aussie favorite. Yep.
Forever. I've always loved them. And it's like what was really cool is like back when we first got signed to Elektra, it was before any of our shit came out. We got invited to the Grammy party. I think it was the Grammys where Jethro Tull won for Best Metal Band.
Yep.
And Metallica was up for it, and we were just signed to Elektra, and we got invited to go to that Chasen's after party show for the Grammys, which is like the biggest one you can go to. That's the coolest, and it was the last one because Chasen's since closed. It was in Beverly Hills. It was this fancy restaurant that it was. We were just like kids. We were just like I was like 22. You know what I mean? And it's like, and it was like I was hanging out with Iggy Pop's kid, and then Iggy Pop and Deborah Harry, and then I just started shooting the shit with this dude, and we were. By getting drinks at the bar and talking, and it was Michael Hutchins. Right when he just buzzed his hair off, and I didn't recognize him. So, and I was young and fucking getting buzzed with Iggy Pop and Deborah Harry, and we just me and him hung out the whole night, and it was fun. And I've been even more of an NXS fan ever since that night.
Yeah.
So it was. Yeah, I was heartbroken when he went. So.
Yeah, absolutely amazing band. And yeah, sadly for me, my first day working in radio was the day that the news came through that we'd lost Michael. So it was one of those bittersweet days for me. I wanted to ask as well, you were talking before about becoming sober. What has that meant for you, and what changes has that seen for you in your lifestyle, but also in your creativity as well with your music?
Well, it's a heavy change because it wasn't just sober. It's like I quit smoking. What was the main thing was I changed smoke since I was basically 15. So it was like that and drugs and alcohol. So it was like all together, and it was like the lifestyle in terms of, and it was because my health, I was just kind of burning candles at both ends, and it's just like, my body was like, fuck you. If you want to live any longer, you better stop doing what you're doing. So docs were like, yeah, just kill it. And my stuff went to where a cigarette leads to a drink, or vice versa. A drink leads to a cigarette. So, and which leads to fucking whatever.
Yep.
So I was like, all of it had to go at once, and all of it did. I just quit everything at once, and I didn't do, AA or nothing, because those guys all chain smoke. And so I just I did it with my woman, and we were both each other's AA. So, and in terms of creativity, I found it weird. But back in the old days, I didn't. We drank when we went out and did whatever, but I didn't. Even during the other period of times, I didn't really get up and drink. And I'd get up and do a bump later before I got sick, which was bad. But I didn't spend the early days. I didn't spend any time really fucked up unless we were out at night, and we weren't really writing music at night. You know what I mean? So I wasn't really writing fucked up until later. Till later in the 2000s, we'd get more fucked up and start writing and working on shit. But it was fun. I found being more creative and stuff like that too. But being sober and starting over again, I'd come into my studio with my rig and everything, and before I'd sit down a beer, a little bit of Jack on the Rocks, and my ashtray, and maybe a line. Whatever, okay, let's get to work. Now it was like, I'm pop down a cup of coffee, okay, what the fuck am I supposed to do here? And then, but started doing what I did before, started getting the beat down, drink some of that coffee, get a riff going, and just started. What was weird is doing the lyrics and shit like that.
Yeah.
Kind of went back to old school. It got kind of better, and it made more sense because when I was fucked up, I looked back at my notes and shit. I mean, I still have them. I looked back at them and I was like, that was pretty stupid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like some of the shit you do when you're fucked up. That was stupid. Why the fuck did I do that? So, and you're older. Your shit changes too as you grow older.
Yep.
Just your outlooks and your opinions on shit and the way you go about shit. A lot of our shit before was all about just fucking and getting hammered and shit. And it's there's different shit in life. And I don't want to be the guy that writes boring shit when I get older. So I'm trying to takes me a little bit longer to work on stuff because I still want it to be cool, something that I would like to hear, but I also want it to be not cheesy. So.
Well, congratulations on getting sober. Hopefully it means that we have you with us for a lot longer time and that we get to hear so much more amazing music that you're going to write over the years. I guess that leads to the question now, where to now for the band? Of course, you're coming to Glam Fest, you've got the new music out. What are your hopes for the band now over the next couple of years?
We're just working on shit. We got, like I said, we got a flow of more stuff coming out. We got shows in Los Angeles in April. Then we got the Monsters of Rock cruise, and the same thing at the end of April. Then they're working on getting our summer run for us at some point. I don't know if it's probably be towards the end. It'd probably be just us and probably somebody else. Unless there's been talk of a few different bands, but nothing's. I haven't heard anything yet. I know they're all working on it right now, our agencies. So we'll see what happens. In the meantime, I know what's next after Australia is a couple Los Angeles shows and Monsters of Rock cruise. And then we'll see what happens after that as it gets closer. So that's and then we just do what we do. We're going to keep recording tracks. Like I said, we got a bunch on the burner too. We got new ones coming up, and just going to keep busy.
Awesome. Well, mate, we're going to play a double shot of your music on our show right now. We're going to play Like a Ghost and House of Pain back to back. But before we do, what would you like to say to all of your fans out there that are heading along to check you out at Glam Fest this year?
I'm just looking forward to coming down under. Just really looking forward to it. And I'm looking forward to seeing everybody out there and just doing these shows, and just we don't get to go there that often, so it's been 4 years, and I can't wait to see everybody.